This is one of the biggest passports in the entire world. And as an Indonesian, this is a major obstacle whenever I'm traveling. Now before we discuss more about it, let's take a look at what a weak passport and a strong passport actually mean. So essentially, whenever you are doing international travel, there are two documents that you need to pay attention to: passport and visa. Passport is a document issued by your national government which acts as an ID for your international travel. Basically, it's a proof that your government allows you to travel abroad, while visa is a document issued by the embassy of your destination country. It is basically a proof that your destination country allows you to visit their country. Got it? I hope so. Now, this is where the weak passport and strong passport comes in. You see, depending on your passport, some countries actually allow you to enter their countries without a visa, meaning that all you need to do is to show up at the airport and the border officer will give you the access to the country right away. For example, if you're an Indonesian, you could just fly to Malaysia with your passport, and once you arrive in Malaysia, you only need to show your passport and you're set to go. The more countries you can enter without having to make a visa, the stronger your passport is, while the less countries you can enter without a visa, then the weaker your passport is. Now let's take a look at where Indonesia stands in terms of passport strength. According to Passport Index, Indonesia is ranked at 59th globally, with 24 countries allowing Indonesians to enter the region without visa. Now let's compare that to some of our neighboring countries. East Timor, which used to be a province of Indonesia, is now ranked 51 globally, with 37 countries allowing visa-free access to its citizens. Malaysia, on the other hand, ranks 15 with 84 countries giving visa-free access to Malaysians abroad. Now you may be thinking that this is not a fair comparison. After all, Malaysia is one of the most developed countries in Southeast Asia, and East Timor is just too small to compare to Indonesia. Fair enough, let's go to other country, Brazil. Compared to Indonesia, Brazil has a relatively similar number of population, similar rate of GDP, and a slightly higher crime index. And yet, Brazilian passport ranks 16 in the world with 83 countries giving visa-free access. You may argue that allowing Indonesians to come to other countries without visa would allow them to do illegal activity in other countries. However, that's not always the case. In recent years, we have seen multiple phenomena in which people from other countries come to Southeast Asia and beg for some money to fund their travel. This phenomenon is called backpacking and it's hurting the local economy of Southeast Asians. Not only that, in 2020, some tourists from USA even published a book on how to live in Bali illegally by breaking the visa regulations. The point here is that anyone from any countries with any passport can do bad thing in another country. Now, is there any solution to this problem? Apparently, there is. And it's called reciprocal visa principle. This principle basically means that when countries are deciding whether or not they want to grant visa-free access to citizens from other countries, they must take into account whether the other country is giving visa-free access to them as well. For example, if Thailand wants to give visa-free access to, say, Singapore, it needs to know whether Singapore is giving visa-free access to them, or it has to initiate an agreement in which both countries would give visa-free access to one another. Why is this a solution, you may ask? Well, even though Indonesia's passport is weak, in terms of visa, we are pretty generous to the entire world. In fact, pre-pandemic, we had 169 countries that can enter Indonesia without visa, despite our passport being so weak on international level. By having this policy, we could have a bigger bargaining power over our borders, as well as maintaining relations with countries that don't think that all Indonesians are bad. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give your like, and if you have something to say, give your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you in another video. Bye bye.